Welcome to Bungoma County. Now, when you walk down the streets of this county, you cannot help but notice big rocks, such as the one that I'm standing on, and they are literally spread over the space. Now, believe you me when I tell you they are Goliath kind of big. Now, something else that you also notice in this county is there's a lot of food crops being grown in different places here, whether it's bananas or cassavas or maize. There's just so much happening in this county when it comes to matters agriculture, a clear indication that Bungoma County is a rich agricultural background and also one of our main food baskets. But we're here, of course, to look for maize farmers, and I'm super excited to see who we are going to be interacting with this first time. Come, let's find out together. It feels absolutely great to be right here in Bungoma County, and we have had a nice taste of this county on the road on our way here. This particular place we are right now is called Mukuyuni, and it is in this region that we're going to be learning so much about maize farming in Kenya. But before we get into the practical work of it, yani tuanze kupanda, tuanze kuchunga mahindi yetu shambani, we get into harvesting, we need to understand the very first factors that support the growth of maize. Here we are talking about ecological factors, how your soil needs to be like, what nutrients are very important. All those lessons will be offered to you in this feature by George, who is our professional agronomist. Come along with me, let's do this. George!
Yes, Nina.
How are you? Habari ya leo?
Mzuri kabisa.
Naona uko katika supervision.
Niko supervision hapa wakulima waweze kutayarisha mashamba vizuri.
Right.
Yes.
How are you, George?
I'm doing good, Nina.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
Nataka unifundishe mambo ya mahindi.
Karibu sana.
When I look at this place, there's a
Yes.
lot of activity happening.
Yes.
Please just expound to me. What is happening now?
The farmers actually, they are doing the second plowing, what we call harrowing, ama kurudia, ile marudio ya pili. Wanajaribu kufanya mchanga ikuwe mwororo. Ndio wakati mvua itanyesha, haswa kama saizi ukiona, it's very dry. Wakati mvua itanyesha ndio waeze kupanda kwa urahisi.
Right.
Yes.
So umesema hii ni the second plowing.
Plowing, yes,
Right.
yes.
Ile ya kwanza ilifanyika saa ngapi, and are there appropriate timings that mkulima anafaa kufuata ndio uhakikishe you're doing this thing the correct way?
Vile tunaweza kuelimisha wakulima wetu, wakati anaanza kulima ya kwanza inafaa kuwa wiki 4 before the rains start. Na marudio inafaa kuanza wiki 2 before the rain starts.
Right.
Yes.
So sasa tunatarajia mvua mwezi wa March.
Tunatarajia mvua ianze mwisho wa hii mwezi ama March ikianza.
March ikianza.
Yes.
Kwa hivyo the first plowing inafanywa February ikianza.
Yes.
Alafu now 2 weeks to March.
Yes.
Unafanya plowing.
Yes.
Ya pili.
Yes, harrowing. Sasa ukikumbuka leo ni lini? Leo ni tarehe 15. Mwezi iko
katikati.
Yes, sasa ndio maana wanafanya hii marudio.
Great.
Yes.
Ukifanya ile plowing ya kwanza na ukifanya hii plowing ya pili,
yes.
What's the difference?
The difference ni wakati unalima ya kwanza unapata ile mchanga iko mnono tunasema. Mfano hii ni mchanga. Mkulima kama amelima ya kwanza hivi, aache shamba alafu akuje apande, ile mbegu ni kidogo ya mahindi, itakuwa na shida kupenyeza kutoka huku chini iweze kutokea hapa sasa. Mkulima wetu atapoteza. Manake kutakuwa na poor germination kwa shamba yake.
Right.
Sasa mkulima akirudia ya pili anafanya hii mchanga inakuwa mwororo. Ndio mbegu yetu iweze kumea kutoka huku chini kwa mchanga vizuri. Yes.
So inamaanisha by the time tunamaliza the second plowing, hatutakuwa na lumps kama hizi.
Hatutakuwa.
Inafaa kuwa smooth kabisa.
Yes, na vile tunaambia wakulima wetu huwa wakati kunanyesha wanafaa kungoja siku 3 mvua wakati inanyesha mfululizo ndio aweze nini kupanda.
Great.
Yes.
Sasa asante, tumeelewa kazi ambayo wakulima wanafanya hapa. They are doing their second plowing.
Yes.
Lakini mimi nataka sasa uniongeleshe kwa upana
yes.
about factors that support the growth of maize. Ukitaka kuangalia mchanga ni gani, what environmental factors, here we're talking about temperature, climate, what is the best suitable weather for maize farming?
Bila shaka mahindi ili iweze kufanya vizuri huwa tuna chenye tunasema agroecological zones. Hizi ni zile nyendo ambazo mahindi inaweza kufanya vizuri. Tuko na high altitude areas ambapo ni mahali penye kuna mvua mingi na baridi.
High altitude areas.
High altitude areas. Na tuko na medium altitude areas. Hizi ni sehemu ambazo mvua iko ya kawaida na pia kuna joto ya kawaida. Alafu tuko na low altitude areas. Hizi ni sehemu ambazo tuko na mvua kidogo na joto iko mingi.
Right.
Yes. Sasa hizo sehemu mkulima anafaa kujua anatoka wapi, ili ajue ni mbegu gani ya mahindi anaweza kupanda ili aweze kupata mazao.
Right. So in all these different altitude areas,
Yes.
unaweza panda mahindi,
Yes.
lakini variety ndo tofauti.
Yes, kabisa.
Right.
Kabisa.
Kwa ule mtu anatizama saizi na
Yes.
anasikia the high altitude areas, medium altitude areas,
Yes.
na anataka kuelewa kwa upana counties that are high altitude areas ni kama gani, medium altitude areas ni kama gani, na hapa Bungoma where we are right now tunaweza classify kama what altitude area?
Mfano, nitatoa mfano kama hapa mahali penye tuko Bungoma. Bungoma iko classified under high altitude areas and medium altitude areas. Mfano kama high altitude areas ni kule Mount Elgon regions. Huko kuna mvua mingi na kunakuwa na baridi. Huko tunapanda ile mahindi inachukua msimu ya miezi 6 kukua.
Right.
Mahali ingine tuko kama mfano hapa Mkuyuni ni medium altitude.
Right.
Hata we saizi unahisi kuna joto.
Kuna joto.
Yes.
Yes.
Sasa hapa tunapanda mahindi ambayo inakuwa kuanzia miezi 3, 4, 5. Hapo mkulima atapata mazao mazuri.
All right.
Shida itakuwa wakati mkulima amechukua mahindi yenye inakuwa miezi 6, 7 apande huku. Atakosa kuwa na mavuno.
All right.
Yes.
Na watu wa low altitude area mbona unawacha nje?
Low altitude areas bila shaka tunasema hivi, kuna mahindi ambayo inastahimili ukame na mahindi ambayo huwa inachukua muda ama msimu mfupi sana kukua.
Right.
Mfano kama miezi 3 na kucha chini.
So George, you've talked to us about the adjustment that a farmer who is in sandy soil needs to do in order to improve their soil to accommodate the growth of maize. Talk to us about that farmer who's in clay soil. What do they need to do?
Clay soil also, they can add the manures or the leftovers from the farm. When these products have been able to be digested by the soil microorganism, the manures will help to open the air spaces. And now you find that clay soil now will have good aeration. It is not going to hold much water.
Right.
Yes.
Great.
Yeah.
So with the understanding that we have on plowing 4 weeks to and also 2 weeks to,
Yeah.
hii ya kuweka hii mbolea, trying to improve my soil before planting, at what point do I need to do it?
For manures, if a farmer now you have, like now to be practical on what farmers have. If a farmer has enough manure, you can apply before the second plowing or before harrowing. So that whenever you are harrowing, you are going to incorporate that manure into the soil.
Right.
But remember, the manure should be well decomposed.
Right.
We have agreed that.
6 months.
Yes.
Ive vizuri, alafu
Yes.
uilete before the second harrowing.
Yes, before the second harrowing. When and make sure it is well distributed on the farm.
Great.
Yes.
Pengine huyu mkulima alikuwa amepanda mahindi in a different season. Are you allowed to rotate with something different ndo uende upande tena mahindi, ama mfululizo tu mahindi unatoa unarudisha mahindi, mahindi unatoa unarudisha mahindi? How do you go about that?
We advise our farmers that they should rotate their crops. But there are some instances whereby you find that the farmer wants to intercrop maize with other crops in the farm, like for example beans, as you have seen. We advise farmers when you are intercropping, put a line of maize and a line of beans. And also on another scenario, the farmer can grow maize on one parcel of land, for example, here. And then maybe on a different season, the farmer can plant beans on the plot where maize was planted.
Right.
Nice.
What are the nutrients that maize really needs in the farm?
Nutrients I can classify under macronutrients, micronutrients, and trace elements.
Right. Kwanza na macro.
The macro elements are nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium.
Right.
From the word macro, these are needed in large quantities. For example, phosphorus supports the maize roots for growth and expansion so that it can anchor itself well, absorb the water and other nutrients from the soil well. Nitrogen is essential because, as you remember, nitrogen plays key role in chlorophyll formation.
The greenness,
The greenness
of the crop.
So this helps the crop to make its own food.
Right.
And potassium is so essential to the maize because it gives the maize that hardness or ya kustahimili change in climate. And it also plays role in formation of the fruiting
Right.
of maize.
Right.
Then we have other micro elements, with MI. We have example calcium, we have example magnesium, we have example sulfur.
Right.
Those ones also plays key role in the development of maize. And then we have other trace elements. Trace elements from the word is that they are required in small quantities, but they are essential.
They are smaller than how you need the micronutrients.
Yes,
All right.
smaller, trace.
I got trace too.
Example is zinc and boron. For example, I can give an example of boron. Required in small quantities, but it plays role how? It enables the increase of root hairs and elongation of them. Do you know what root hairs are?
Yes. Kwa root.
They are small.
Zingine tunatokea hivi tudogo
Yes,
tudogo.
dogs. I can
High
show.
five.
High five.
Najua root
I
hairs.
can show you here. Like this is a plant. These are root hairs. You see, this one.
Yes.
These are the root hairs now. Yes.
So hii tunasaidiwa na boron.
Boron now, the work is to make this one many and increase in number and elongate them.
Right.
Yes.
What's the importance of having many elongated root hairs?
They increase the surface area for absorption of water and other nutrients from the soil. Now you find that your maize is flourishing well.
All right.
Yes.
Great. So just to break that down, tuko na macro, micro na
And
trace elements.
Yes.
Kwa macro tumesema ni
Nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, noted as NPK.
Right.
Yes.
And then kwa micro
We have
tuko na
calcium, magnesium, and sulfur.
and sulfur.
Yes.
Alafu kwa trace elements.
Tuko na zinc, boron.
All right. So we've understood the nutrients. And is that why we are growing beans? Because of their role as nitrogen fixers in the soil? Help us understand that science.
I would like to answer that, but let me just remove my glasses so that I can be viewable by many Kenyans.
Wakenya wakuone vizuri?
Wakenya wanione vizuri.
So tell me more.
Yeah, so beans actually, they are known to fix nitrogen to the soil. But due to their nature, like they grow faster than maize, we don't recommend farmers to plant beans and maize in the same hole. There will be competition. First, for space, because when the beans grow faster, they will squeeze the maize.
Right.
That's why I don't know if you have observed a farmer who has who had intercropped maize and beans, but planted maize and beans in the same hole.
In
When
the
the
same
farmers-
hole,
yes.
ebu eleza hiyo vizuri George.
yes.
What do you mean in the same hole? Ukichimba shimo ya kuweka maize, uweke pia ya beans.
Yes,
In
there are
the same
farmers
hole?
who do that. Yes,
So that's not allowed. It's not advised.
is not advised.
What do you advise them to do?
We advise them to make a row of maize and a row of beans,
Right.
which, if you can allow me, I can state the spacing.
Sure, why not?
Yeah, for spacing maize from one seed to another, we say it's 25 centimeters, all what we call 1 foot. And then from the row of maize to the row of maize is 75 centimeters, which is equivalent to 2.5 feet. 1 foot is like this. This is 1 foot. My boot,
Okay.
1 foot. So here it means that the whole of maize should be here and another one here.
So, rudisha hiyo ni-
This is the boot.
mguu hapo. So,
Yeah.
tukichimba hapa, tuweke
mbegu yetu ya mahindi,
the next
nyingine
one ikue hapa.
hapo nyuma.
Alafu hiyo ingine ikue hapa.
Sasa yes, hiyo ingine sasa hapo. The row now, the row is 2.5 foot. 2.5 foot is what? Show me. 2.5 foot.
So ingine ikue hapa.
Half
Hapa.
Yes, hapo ingine hapo. Yes.
Sino?
We will now have a row of maize and a row of maize. And if you want to plant beans now, it's in between here, the middle.
Katikati ya.
Yes,
So we are intercropping.
Yes, we are intercropping. Yes.
So between the maize and the maize, in between, ndo tuko na beans.
Beans.
Great.
Alafu beans, distance yake from one hole of beans to another is 10 centimeters. You open your hand like this, yes, this way.
So for spacing your beans, 10.
Yes, 10.
So I spread
Unatumia
out.
hii mkono unafungua. Yes.
So here nikiweka bean moja hapa,
yes,
the next
hapo.
one here.
Yeah.
And then I keep opening up.
Yes.
10 all through.
Yes.
Okay.
Na kwa mkulima practically kwa farm, how can you demonstrate this? Unaweza mwambia achukue kijiti apime na mkono wake. Then atakuwa anatumia hiyo for spacing for beans.
Aneka tu na kijiti, si
Yes, yes.
So, wasirudie hiyo makosa ya kuweka
shimo moja mahindi na maharagwe
kwa shimo moja. Great.
Yes.
Now I want to understand what can I not intercrop my maize with? Nisipate mkulima ameweka which other type of crop in a farm that has maize yenye italeta shida hapo mbele.
Huwa tunasema hivi, mmea ziko na familia. Si unajua tuko na familia? Huwa tunaambiana familia hamfai kuwa pamoja. Mfano mahindi hawezi kupanda pamoja na mtama. Hiyo ni familia moja.
Right.
Yes, zinakula chakula moja.
Okay.
Yes.
So don't do maize and then you're also doing cereals.
Cereals, no. Do maize with legumes. That will be okay.
Can you do maize with fruits?
Fruits, or depends which fruits.
Okay.
Yes.
So some can.
But because of spacing issues, like for example, if you can do passion fruit and maize, they don't go together because of whenever you find that passion has reached a place whereby imeanza kuweka matunda, hiyo ina require space, and then you find there is no space for maize.
Right.
Yes.
Good.
But maybe you can do while the passion are still young.
Right.
Yes.
Good. Niongeleshe kuhusu seasons za mahindi.
Oh, seasons za mahindi. We have the long rains and short rains. Long rains ni ile wakati kuna mvua refu. Kama hapa mvua tunatarajia ianze kutoka mwezi wa 3 ikianza, ama sehemu zingine zinapokea mwezi wa 2 vile inaenda kuisha. Inaenda mpaka around mwezi wa 5 hivi. Mara ingine inaweza enda ipotee mwezi wa 5 hapo ikielekea mwezi wa 6. Then we have the short rain season. Hii inaanzanga mwezi wa 8 hivi ikiendelea hapo. August, September, October. Yapo.
Right.
Yes.
So a maize farmer can be in business 2 seasons.
Yeah, 2 seasons, but, depending with the place.
Right.
Yes.
I'm believing that is someone who's rain-fed, right?
Yes.
If I'm doing irrigation, is that the same case?
No. Irrigation, so long as you have water, what you need is to plan yourself. Like if you are doing business of dry maize, it means that you grow your maize, you wait them until they dry, and then you harvest, and then you shell, and then from there you sell.
Right.
And then there is green maize. If you are doing business for green maize, it means that you are now growing your maize so that you can harvest them when they have reached that stage for roasting, that you can sell your green maize to vendors,
Right.
kama wale wa kuchoma mahindi.
Yes.
So if you are a farmer who is practicing irrigation, you can plan yourself well with nutrition aspect. Then you have your maize throughout the season.
Throughout the year.
And then I will advise a farmer that if you have big land, you can do your maize in bits, like in a span of 1 month span. Like you grow your maize, like you have 1 month maize and another maize that you are planting. So that by the time you are harvesting this, there is another maize which is almost near to harvesting for green maize.
Right.
So that you can have continuous generation of income. Yes.
From your experience, given that we have different types of irrigation,
Yes.
right? Which one works best for maize? Which model?
Now it will depend with the source of water that you have. If you have limited supply of water, I would advocate, although it's slightly expensive, but I will advocate drip irrigation.
Right. It conserves a lot of
Yes,
water.
because it conserves a lot of water. But if you look the installation aspect, it's a little bit expensive.
Right.
Yeah, but that is the model maybe I can advocate.
Right.
Of course, others use sprinkler irrigation, but that one, sometimes it is associated with fungal diseases, because remember, if you have like water accumulates on the leaf for a long period of time, you find that fungal diseases like to develop or like to grow there.
Right.
Yes.
So drip irrigation is very effective.
Yes, it's
Though
very
the challenge
effective.
is it's expensive,
yeah.
and that's where we need the government and also private stakeholders
Yeah,
to come
sure.
in to support our farmers.
Yeah.
Now, also the fact that you've traveled a lot, you've interacted with a lot of farmers. Wengi wao ni small scale ama ni large scale? How many acres of land do a lot of them have?
To say our farmers, majority of them are small scale. Yes, they're small scale. As you know now, accessibility of like water becomes a challenge. Yes.
So when you talk about small scale, wako na eka ngapi ngapi?
Small scale, you find a farmer having 0.5 acres and below.
Right.
Yes.
And our large scale farmers utapata ni how many acres?
Our large scale, there's even a farmer I saw who is having 40 hectares.
Right.
Yes.
Great.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So thank you so
Go
much.
to Uasin Gishu and Trans Nzoia, you get farmers having big chunks of land. Yes.
Great.
Yes.
Thank you so much, George, for
Yes.
speaking to us as we try to learn more about the environmental, ecological factors that do support the growth of maize.
Yeah.
And what I'm learning from you is, regardless of where you are, unaweza panda mahindi, but there are factors you need to consider.
Yeah.
The type of maize,
yes.
and also improving your soil
Your
to
soil,
some
yes,
extent.
yes, yes,
right.
yes,
So
yeah.
it's possible to grow
It's
maize
possible.
anywhere.
Yeah, it's possible.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much for
Appreciate
speaking
so
to us.
much, Nina.
Nimejifundisha root hairs, macronutrients,
Yeah.
micro,
Yes.
trace elements.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Nice.
What a great introduction to maize farming with our expert George, who is a professional agronomist. He has helped us understand the very initial but very crucial things that you as a farmer need to look out for even before you plant your seed. Now remember, if you plant your seed in an environment, in a soil that does not support the seed, you will be wasting your money at the end of the day. And right here at Kenya's Gold, we're very keen to make sure that you are thriving in the space of agriculture.